Harry, Finn, lovely to see you.
How's it going?
I just want you to reflect for a second on where we're sitting and the aircraft behind us, because it's being close to a Spitfire. It's almost, am I exaggerating when I say being close to one of those? It is quite emotional, isn't it? It feels that way to me.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just so much history in all this stuff, and I think that was a lot of the feeling when we were filming, was obviously getting to do it on the beach at Dunkirk. There was a lot of, it just felt very special while we were doing it. I think everyone was aware of, you know, the history that was under our feet, and it made for a very sobering experience in general, I think.
And for you, Finn?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first time that everyone heard One Fly Overhead, it's just the most recognisable sound in the world. You know, with the Royce engine and everything, everyone was just kind of in awe, really. I think everyone stopped filming for a minute and just like followed it with their eyes. It was really hard to like do a shot, because every time one flew over, you were just like kind of just admiring it, really.
And how much of a sort of learning curve for you too was it? Learning about Dunkirk and what really happened, and then trying to recreate it. How much of a learning curve was it for you?
I think when you learn about Dunkirk at school as well, it was so early in the war, and it's obviously not considered a kind of our best moment in the war. So I think it's kind of always told as this like fairy tale thing that is kind of washed over. It's like they were stranded and then people came and got them and they went home. And I think through the filming process, it was just amazing to kind of see it as, you know, see each soldier as humans rather than, you know, the large number of people who got home. So I think it was cool to kind of learn about it in a more of a human way than like a statistic way.
Was there pinch yourselves moments when it's Kenneth Branagh?
We shall go on to the end.
It's Mark Rylance, it's Tom Hardy. Were there moments when, and I know you say everyone's embracing and clearly that's the mood, but were there moments personally where you're thinking, okay, I'm here?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, despite the fact that he does create this kind of equal state, it was definitely, I was still in shock when I met a lot of these people. These are people that I've looked up to for so long, and also just the scale of his sets are insane. You know, the first time I walked out and saw Spitfires flying overhead and warships in the background on the sea, and you know, a kilometre of beach had been set dressed to look like the time, and 13 to 1,500 extras on the beach. It is an insane thing. I think anyone, whether you're an actor or just a normal person walking out to something like that, it is incredible. It's such a sight, and I think I guess you learn to adapt when you're filming. You start to take it in as normal, and then it's on reflection watching the film that I look back and I'm like, that was crazy, that was insane.
And Harry, if I could ask you, you obviously have had a lot of experience in a different world, effectively, in the music world, and you've had to deal with all the attention that Finn is kind of maybe going to get used to a bit now. Does it feel like a complete change to you, or does it feel like quite a natural progression?
I mean, obviously the doing of it was so amazing, and I think further on the last question, it's always such a, anytime you get to work with, you know, people you're a fan of in any kind of format, it's such a privilege to kind of be around those people and get to watch them work, and you kind of just want to soak as much up of that as you can. In terms of the general kind of switch from music to acting, I don't know, they just feel so different to me. I feel, you know, I've always felt incredibly lucky to get to work in music and do something that I love, and I enjoyed this so much. I just, you know, feel very grateful to get to do two things that I like so much.
Just one last thing I wanted to ask you about. Having seen the film, there are some very moving, and the sequences I was thinking of are the scenes with the capsize. I'm not sure how those were filmed, but clearly you're underwater at times. I mean, they look quite difficult, quite complicated, and quite demanding. Can you tell us a bit about those?
Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff was the most fun to film, I think, for me. It was, you know, it was so interesting to kind of see the way that the set was and kind of have just something so large just kind of sank. And just working in a set that's totally submerged in water, and kind of, you know, the whole crew, everything, the cameras all kind of coming up between takes to get some air and just going again. I think, you don't get to work like that every day.
Fionn, Harry, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.